Welcome to Man of the Cringes. And I have to say, bro, Elysia is the most kid. She is the most overhyped mid-kid character ever, bro. Right? I love Cyrene, right? That character is the most spot on to Elysia from Honkai Impact as you're possibly gonna get. I don't think we're gonna get any better than outside of Elysia herself, even though she's not quite Elysia. Cyrene gives off little sister energy. Elysia gives off waifu number one energy. There's a big difference here. If you wanna, you pull her. There's enough time to get an E2. There is. I'm not gonna recommend pulling her because Edo Star is coming out. But if you wanna, you get her. Plus, Dahlia looks like Narissa, so from Hololive, so yeah, you might as well get Dahlia. That pink power, pink power. Purple is pink with extra steps. Pink by technicality. Pink adjacent. Castress is pink adjacent. I did an extra long Divergent Universe farm. An extra long one. An extra long one. And Cyrene buffs Castress. Before she buffs Castress is hitting 20 to 24 million damage. 20 million. If Elysia increases the amount of damage that we do above 20 million, then I firmly believe that she's great. But I'm talking like 100 million. After Cyrene does the buff, she's doing... I just don't understand how she's supposed to help. 900 is not dealing more damage. She is not dealing more damage. Bro, there's no way that we dealing less damage with her ult. Do you know how confusing that is when her buff go to Tracer's ult to Castress, right? A massive amount of damage based off of overflow, which increases the amount of true damage dealt, right? It didn't work. I can try Cyrene right now with every single one of these characters outside of Glaya, because I don't have a Glaya, I hate a Glaya. I have everybody. E1 is the important one because it makes it so she does her ult more often, right? E2 makes it so that once the points are all gained, the memo sprite allows us more true damage to be dealt. You don't need E2, but E1 for her to function normally, it's a requirement. This is why they placed the banner for fucking the whole 2 months, almost. This came out yesterday. The ban is up for a month and a half about, right? They did this because they know you have to pull for E1 for it to be functional in a meta sense. Or I would say in a normal sense, because any boss battle you fight in the entire game, when you use it, she's just gonna take forever to unleash the ult, and then when she does the ult, then everybody either you would have been slaughtered by MOC12, you would have defeated MOC12, or she wouldn't help at all because she's too late to do anything that includes attacking. You're about to witness an uprising. And I know how this is gonna end, bro. I know. If anybody's played Honkai Impact, Flame Chasers knows how this is gonna end. Everybody gonna die. They permanently dead. Cyrene's not all of a sudden gonna join the train. Spider's not gonna join the train. When are they gonna join the train? Huh? Why at least one of them survive to join the train? It's never gonna happen. No train for you. Look at us. I'm Honkai Star Rail. No one's ever gonna join the train. Alright, put the ring on. Marriage. Yes. Wait, are you telling me that MC and Cyrene gets married in a simulation and just for her to not exist afterwards? I feel sorry for Firefly, bro. I feel sorry for Firefly. Firefly clearly has the biggest crush on MC ever, and then Cyrene gets thrown into the mix. And you're telling me you're gonna choose Firefly over Elysia over here? Yeah, I don't think you are, bro.
Life and death.
Look, I'm not saying I don't like Firefly myself, but hey. 3, 4, 5 million is the max damage dealt. Not even 5. 16. Why you keep doing less damage, bro? It makes no sense to me. It making no sense. It making no sense. It making no sense. Making no sense. You do not let this damage make fuck all sense to me. Even with Evernight has done 4 million outside of the AWP, and then 1 million and sometimes less inside of the AWP. Make it make sense, bro. Sparkle exists everywhere, bro. Elation for life, bro. Elation for life. I'm part of the Elation squad. Elation team up in this bitch. Elation is all about having fun and creating chaos. And having fun in creating chaos. Hey, Elation's buzz is, it's sad that you've murdered 500 million people, but did you have fun? Good. That's all that matters. That's Elation, bro. You can be the most sick motherfucker ever, provided you got a chuckle out of it, man. You could have just laughed once. I'll be like, it's gonna be easy because MOC 10, but we'll see. Oh, it's 1, 2, 3, 231. Okay. Elysia, we wait on you. Good night. Gains 3 recollection points, deploys the zones 2 turns, zones in grid 1, Cyrenes every turn. The zone also for instance damage, all target targets grids 1 into 2 damage, 26% damage. So the reason why it's not fucking working is because she hasn't even used this, been able to use a skill or go once in Divergent Universe. Hold up a sec, hold up. And this is all because this bitch got the most speed that I could have possibly put on a character in the game. Not Hyacine supremacy, bro. Hyacine supremacy. Hyacine goes on every team. Hyacine is my Bennett in this game. Memories waiting to be woken up by a shooting star. Are you the star? Sport.
Life and death. Sprout new buds.
Alright, again.
Okay.
So I'm gonna probably be releasing a few videos of me just testing them with different teams. It's just that this is the main team. Oh man, that's so little damage.
It's not so fragile.
Right, so what we want is to increase the percentage at the bottom of casters to 200%. So you
again.
And then square, and then alt. Fuck! I pressed the wrong button.
Embrace a new life.
I was supposed to go more than 200%.
Just club night falls.
And then...
Good night.
All 1, 2, 3, plus. I should have ended it so that I could test the thing properly, but fine. I just think it's a little bit too much effort, no? One slash heal him. Hey, she got an ult back. Okay, I see. I'm understanding it. I understand it now. I understand it now. I understand it now. I can't fuck explain it, but I understand it. Respect. Why can't you buff the Memo Sprite directly though?
Messing around. Have some fun.
I still think Evernight's fucking broken.
Return to dust.
Right. You're gonna kill him, aren't you, Hyacin? Watch Hyacin kill him.
Witness.
Can we let the dragon go now? Can we get all good old dragon to... Oh, she gonna kill him. She doesn't do enough damage to kill. 3, 4. So casters on a single enemy hit almost 1 million damage. So that's what they mean by stack overflow, and then a percentage multiplier on true damage into two below enemies will be multiplied by a certain percentage. And then if it's more enemies, it would only be multiplied by half of that amount. But it still doesn't help, because if Cassius isn't able, if Cyrene didn't ult, you wouldn't get either, first of all. And secondly, by the time Cyrene would have ulted, would have been at the end of the game. So she would only be shaving off the last of everyone's HP, no? Like, so you would be getting a buff from a skill, right? Which you probably would have activated if she has enough speed. And then you're gonna get a buff from her ult, which activates only at the end of the game. Again, it takes less effort if you just use Tribby and MC. So Cyrene, the whole point of Cyrene is you pull her if you like her, but using her for any purpose is, I don't know, I really don't. You want to use her because you like her, that's it. I'm just saying, like, if this was a spending thing and you were trying to make your mind up as to how you want to spend your money on a character in a game where that money doesn't really, you're just throwing money away at that point because it doesn't really matter. Putting Cyrene doesn't make sense because her kit requires more than just a little bit of effort for it to function on the characters you want to use her on. I need to try it on someone else. One time effect. When using My Day, removes all crowd control debuffs. And if My Day is Vendetta state, automatically uses one instance of God Slayer be God without consuming a charge. That means he does his follow ult immediately. Crit damage increases by 200% during this attack. That's an instantaneous one hit, but why a one-time effect? If a target gets defeated before the use, then it will target the newly arriving enemy targets instead. If Mida is not in the Vendetta state, it advances his action by 100%. So in other words, like, Cyrene's ult is good if we get a healer that advances everyone that's taking advanced specific characters forward when they heal. Like a Bronya, but instead of buffing you, they heal you. That would be cool. Okay, so this is an overall encompassing difference on his ult. That's what I mean by effective for one-time effect, and effective for entire battle. Final, I'll definitely try now. Castress 1 confuses the shit out of me because I've seen it not work now multiple times. In editing, I checked it again and I realized it worked once. That does not make this better, even a little. Now obviously you need to use her ult on the character for these things to work, so this is what I mean by Castress doesn't work, because when it's not used on her, she's still doing more damage than when the thing gets put on her, and I don't know if I'm the only one that's noticing that. Or if it's just me. Maybe it's a skill issue. Bro, if it's a skill issue, I hope it is, bro, because if everybody's pulling this bitch for Castress and then Castress is not even doing the damage it's supposed to, man. The effect of the entire battle of the season Evernight increases. Damage of whenever you use member sprite skill dream dissolving to you. By 80% of the Evernight use skill, additionally gain one more crit damage boost. Provided by skill further increase by an amount equals 12% Evernight's crit damage. I mean, okay, that's kind of a buff. Like, in comparison, it's kind of mid compared to others in comparison, no? And again, she's OP on her own, bro. She don't really need it. Crit damage of a character or military made about 30%. So, okay, if you run Finan, Cyrene, and Saradra, then you're getting Finan a massive buff. The question is, who the hell has Finan, Cyrene, and Saradra? I'm just saying, I have weird luck on this game, alright? Effect of the entire battle. When using Chubby, because the damage of Chubby, you know, 12% of the damage defense. I don't like. Wait. Okay, read finish. Triggers additional damage from Chubby's zone for the. But no one plays Chubby for damage. No one. No. You play Chubby for that? I don't. This is dumb. This is dumb. Why not making an effect on a skill? Then an effect with a follow. That's dumb. That's dumb. What did Icing do? Damage is member spider skill for Icing. You get 2-star or the sky when using Icing using 24 inch. That's why Icing's ulting all fucking time. Probably I'm sorry, I can skill 72% current healing amount of Icing use skill and consume what out of the sky. Alright. Icing is broken regardless. Alright. When using Isolance, who's running Isolance for Cyrene? That I don't know. it's a one-time effect thing as well, so maybe they know that. When using Iceland get flowing warmth of Iceland's users an attack, consume flowing warmth, regain 60 energy for this unit in battle, increase damage level by 20% after Ice base stat skill enemies. With all dot countered by attack enemies immediately produce damage equal to 6-8% per damage. I mean, sure. Again, who's using Iceland with Cyrene? They are. None of these characters are dot except for Iceland. So that means you would have to run Icelands with Kafka or Black Swan or Zhao Shu or any of the other dot characters. Cyrene wouldn't then buff any of them too heavily, alright? That makes it so that Iceland getting this one-time effect thing wouldn't even matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, where's the ultimate, right? Okay, 20% buff on all characters after Akashi 27 overflow. Okay, that doesn't help. So running Cyrene with Icelands makes no sense then, because Icelands needs every other dot character, Amphorius has no dot characters, so you have to run them outside of Amphorius, and in that case, Cyrene then loses a benefit because Icelands only activates one time. That's pushing off, bro. Wait a sec. This only happens when she ults, so that means Finan wouldn't have the buff activated until the ult gets activated, which wouldn't even happen early because Finan has his own thing that needs to be done, right? Which would exclude Cyrene from his entire ultimate.
Flowers bloom for tomorrow.
Taking long, bro. Finan already almost has his ult. This legitimately does not matter.
Your downfall is absolute.
Okay. I'm gonna be patient. I'm here to test something. Finan, you're gonna have to wait on that ult, bro. Finan can easily hit the million with multiple enemies on the screen with these. Fuck, I don't even have a thing.
Engage.
I don't want to get engaged to you. I don't even know how you look under that arm.
Flailing beast.
Finish them.
We're here to perform a test, people. A test, I say. Dan's getting his ass beat here.
Together we can do
Right,
anything.
out.
Shine
Got
for the
fucking
hero.
time.
Memories waiting to be woken up by a shooting star.
I could have ulted with Finan a whole ass turn ago, bro. Finan and then Seraja.
Ignite the dawn.
Right? I think I know more or less what my finest damage is without her. So it's just a matter, is it more? Right, then you Dan ult, and then you Seraja ult.
Hatred with love.
Dragons soaring above the land. This is permanent.
To the defeated, your downfall is absolute.
These are characters that don't need to be doing damage, they get buffed with damage, bro. Well, Seraja's not bad, I guess. Right. That's 6. There we go, we got it. And ult.
Tear the sky. Hail the new dawn. Tear the sky.
It's doing less damage. And that's without Seraja's buff kicking in properly.
Prepare for some hard.
They said on his exit that it also got buffed. I mean, that definitely got... Is that what I meant?
Hail the new dawn. Tear the sky.
That is actually potent if it means that the alts double. Okay. All he did. When Demiurge uses member spread skill against order to earth, down rank permanent terror enables the next attack, soul rank to deal different damage. The damage doesn't matter for down. Equal to 80% of shield effect when down. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad, because if everybody has shield, that's a lot of damage. But still, that you're not using down for damage. When down, permanent order to earth, bond mid deals 24% increased damage. That's pretty cool. When used on down, permanent terror, advanced soul dragon action on soul dragons. Next action gets an enhancement effect of down and permanent terror ultimate shield effect. Variable soul dragon out of 50% original shield effect doesn't consume enhancement on that. So this is an overall increase term. It's just that it's gonna take so long to get there. It wouldn't matter at that point because you're not using him for damage. A large amount of Amphoria's characters you're not using for damage. Who are you not using for damage? Seradra's not used for damage. Chubby's not used for damage. Hyacinth, Danheng, MC, Cypher's not used for damage. Anaxa can be used for damage, but he's not used for damage. Cyrene's not used for damage. How much DPS does Demi do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 DPSs. So 6 characters would be used for damage, and in those 6 characters, Cyrene doesn't work. On most of them. Finan, if Cyrene was able to ult at the start of the match, she'd be broken. Right? If Cyrene had a thing where you can ult at the start of every match, she'd be broken. This would be fixed, we wouldn't have an issue. That's not the case here. That's not happening here. Alright? Effective for the entire battle. When used on Trailblazer Remembers, increases Trailblazer Remembers attack by an amount equal to 16% of Demiurge's max HP. Alright. Crit rate, increase 72% Demiurge's crit rate. Okay. This effect can also apply to Mem. After Trailblazer using enhanced basic attack in this battle, Demiurge means getting on next turn. Okay, so in turn, MC is buffing Cyrene. Targets would be featured before this ability use would be used on newly open enemy targets. So, alright. So Cyrene buffs MC, MC buffs Cyrene, and they both have extra crit rate. But wait, huh? Increases Trailblaze Remembrance crit rate. I'm about to show you something fucking stupid. I wanna cry. I'm gonna show you something fucking stupid. I'm pissed off right now. Where is it? Where is it? If I'm not wrong. No, it's an Eidolon. We got it for free. The only damage that matters for MC is the ultimate. The ultimate's crit rate is 100%. So you're telling me I'm going back. I'm reading this shit again. You are mad as fuck. Man, who cooked this? Who cooked this? Get them out the kitchen, bro. They don't know what the fuck you're doing. Increases Trailblazer's Remembrance crit rate by amount equal to 72% of Demiurge's crit rate and applies to Mem. But MC is not the one doing the ultimate damage, it is Mem. So why would you apply more crit rate if the crit rate's not gonna do anything if you already have 100% crit rate and you get it in the Eidolon, bro. You get it in the Eidolon. So I'm not reading wrong. I'm not thinking wrong. I've played this game enough to know by this point that it doesn't matter. Unless this does something with crit rate. Does this do something with crit rate? Does anybody know? So from what I see here, the new attack that's given to MC needs crit rate. So instead of rewording the Eidolon to include the new ability of MC where Mem closes the book, You need to use Cyrene to give MC the crit rate to be able to crit with the book. Make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. Couldn't they have just upgraded MC's Eidolon to include that instead of having to have Cyrene as a battery for damage that you might not necessarily use on MC? Because I use MC in other teams. Wow, dude. Wow. I'm just baffled by the stupidity of this entire situation, bro. I'll test every one of these characters. But for the first video of this series of testing Cyrene, it's just gonna be me going through each one of these motherfuckers right here. Like, this is the most mid one compared to the others. And again, it doesn't matter because Everknight's broken without Cyrene. What is an Noxus one? One-time effect. When used on a Noxus, it recovers 1 skill point. Allies in take action immediately. Skill C instances of damage lasting for 1 turn. So more auto attack next time base attack skill. True knowledge. All erudition characters have their attack increased by 60%. Why would you run Cyrene with an Axa if most of the erudition characters are outside of Amphorius? She's then wasting a spot. Then Cyrene is nothing but an Anaxa battery. There is zero reason to run Cyrene with an Anaxa, so that cancels the Anaxa as well. So, in conclusion, My Day, Hyacinth, and Saradra, and Dan. That's 4 characters. That's 4 characters, bro. When used on a Glaive, because a Glaive gain romance immediately stacks example Calm makes remember strike talent speed boost affect the upper limit after a Glaive. Calm uses attacks, consumes romance and regenerates 70 energy, increases damage by Glaive, Calm 72%. That's broken. So excluding Castrus and Finan, who Cyrene doesn't necessarily work for because he takes too long to proc out. Well, that's for everyone if you think about it. 5 characters, right? Hyacinth, Saradra, Dan, Aglaya, and My Day. Like Tribi, for instance, you're not using Tribi for damage. Hyacinth's you're using with a team outside of Amphorius. MC doesn't even need the crit rate. I mean, if you're using it for damage, are you? Okay. Then there's Anaxa, who's again, all their additional characters are outside of Amphorius. And he's buffing those characters. So you want to run Cyrene to buff him to buff those characters. So that means if you have Anaxa and Cyrene on a team and 1 erudition character, what are you doing with the last character? Healer? Another erudition? At that point you're fucking up Anaxa's ability to buff erudition characters, because if you wanted to run Anaxa with Herta, the Herta, the Herta needs erudition characters to get the buff. The more erudition characters there is, the higher her buff. So Cyrene is a waste, because with Cyrene, she's only buffing Anaxa and Herta's not getting the buff. So in other words, it equalizes, because if you were to run 2 erudition characters in Anaxa and a mini Herta, for instance, you would get the same buff that you would have gotten running Anaxa and Cyrene because of Herta's buff. Make it make sense, bro. Okay, so then we can include Cypher. Cypher increases the defense rate done, so the amount of damage taken, even more on enemy characters. But then you must remember, a lot of the times you can run My Day with Cypher, right? My Day Cypher is not a bad run. But Cypher, you're also gonna run on Nihility teams. So what? Are you gonna run Cypher and Isolance? Or are you gonna run... I'm just trying to make sense of this. What can you do? Kafka, Cypher, Isolance, Cyrene, and then you die? But you're not using Cyrene for ult damage. She doesn't do much ult damage. That's why. That's why. That's why. That's why. That's why. That's why. Oh, bro. Again, I'm trying to figure out something here. Is this when she uses her ult on someone? So to order all that lives is the ultimate. The ultimate only, the Memo Sprite only gets summoned when the ultimate is proc, right? Enables Demiurge on summons Memo Sprite Demiurge on ultimate. So that means this order to all that lives doesn't activate for anybody unless she procs her out, of which only 5 characters benefits from it, the others don't. That means even if you got E1, it wouldn't even matter. E1 fixes Finan. Everyone else, it really wouldn't matter. Because you could have just ran Sunday and gotten the same amount of damage with most of them. You can run casters with Sparkle, and Sparkle will give a fuck ton of crit damage that would have equaled the same amount of damage, that would have taken less effort. You could have just ran Tribby, and Tribby's skill would allow for 21% all type and I don't even have it maxed out. Wow, bro. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at how fucking stupid this is. Yo. Are you serious, bro? I was not doing myself favors for not looking at leaks. Yeah, I'm not putting you on. There's no point. Fuck. I'm so close, I might as well pull the loser 50-50.
A few moments later.
I got a E1. Next video! Does the light cone make it any different? Or is this just another waste of time? Increases speed by 18% when Whereas Memo Sprite uses Memo Sprite skill on one ally against blank, which increases damage taken by all enemies by 10%. Memo Sprite uses Memo Sprite skill on enemy against verse, which increases crit damage of all allies by 16%. So that's so much better than that. This light cone would make her usable on other teams, like, wouldn't it? Hold up a second. Couldn't you just run this on Iocene? Just a thought. Don't have to. Iocene's one I think is a little more broken than that. Speed increase, basic ult skill, ultimate, consumes allies that's broken, but like if we're talking about buffing, then you could get Cyrene's light cone, put it on Hyacine, and get an all-out buffer through. My recommendation: pull copies of the light cone, and if you want Cyrene, pull one of her and just leave her on your account for like giggles, shits and giggles, I guess. Because Cyrene's light cone on Hyacine is broken. You would think that they would have fixed this. They gave crit rate to MC, who doesn't need crit rate. They're giving damage buffs to characters you don't use for damage.
Receive divinity.
What in general name is Tribby gonna do with an extra percentage of damage on a follow-up attacks, bro? The follow-up attacks deals maximum 25k damage. When you're fighting enemies in MOC 12 with millions upon millions of damage, what does that actually matter?
Let's try it this other way. Do it! Eternal slither. And return!
Look, we're gonna auto Chubby. Look, Chubby follow. 651. Chubby out. 15k. That's normal for Chubby. I'm not using Chubby for damage, bro.
Darkness with me.
And somehow, using Mem gives casters Mem Chubby combination gave Castress more damage. I am so angry right now. I'm mad, and everyone's still pulling. Everyone, when I say pulling, I mean everyone's still. There's a whole bunch of people putting money into the game to pull Cyrene, and I mean if you add the money to put into the game, that doesn't fix her kit. That doesn't make her any benefit other characters anymore unless you pulled both E6 and Refinement 5 of a light code. Of which it would have been better to just pull one of her, the E1, and then R5 the light cone and give the light cone to Hyacinth. I'm just trying to make sense of the spending towards Cyrene here, and I'm not finding it. I'm not finding the sense. I wanted to note something, right? That now at the end part that I've been doing, both Tribi with MC and Ruan Mei with MC has made Castress do more damage or similar damage with less effort in comparison to Cyrene. 280k. So that would have, yeah, that probably would have hit about 500k again. Right, so she puts the ring on. So we're buffing you.
Life and death. New blood.
My goal in this entire situation is to see, does it benefit, bro? Does it benefit to use her over using just Tribi and MC? Or even Ron May?
Distraction with me.
Yeah, my version don't do that much damage at all. I'm built the same. Light cone makes sense.
It's the answer.
Right. They summon more enemies specifically so Castress can do damage. We're getting rid of the enemies.
Night falls. Good night.
Wait a second. We have the dragon summoned already. So this will prove my point, no? Alright.
Have some sunshine. Maybe this. Smell the blue. Star in the sky. Next time it rains, I'll be there, umbrella in hand.
Okay.
This is eternity. Not thinking of running, are you?
One. We wouldn't even be able to test it properly. Just alt quickly. This is our one character. Then why did she hit 800k with Ron May? Yo, I did a lot of testing today, bro. And honestly, I'm still pretty damn disappointed. The thing is, Castress's entire buzz is you're not always going to fight multiple enemies. So when there's usually less enemies, she does less damage. Cyrene fixes that. And usually at the end of the match, you then have less enemies to be fighting. But what if you're fighting one enemy from the start, or the enemy summons more enemies? Then the Castress owed it to whatever the fuck truth powers wouldn't even work. Because now, an example, the Deliverer would summon more enemies, which would cancel the buff, which requires you to have two or less enemies. That's not even the only boss that summons enemies. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, none of it matters if you're not gonna get the ult in the first place. It's a man with the cringes. This has been a disappointing run. I want you to like, subscribe, smack a face with the keyword a couple of times, still notifications set to always. Check out all the links in the description, especially our second channel, Exhausted Genshin. I'm playing variety of games on Exhausted Gamers. I'm playing variety of games. Yeah, pray for me. Pink power, pink power. Purple is pink with extra steps. Pink by technicality. Pink adjacent. Castress is pink adjacent.